So taking Anna Porter's words to heart, I've decided to do show and tell. Demons in the Detail. A book about demons, really? Many of us know about demons mainly through Yiddish curses. If you haven't been called a muzik, then you haven't grown up in a Jewish household. Most of you haven't grown up in a Jewish household. A muzik is a demon. So in more recondite circles is a shade or a ruach. But a muzik is really what you call a little kid who's a pest and gets into everything. That's what the rabbis were talking about when they talked about demons. This is a marvelous book because it teaches us how to think by looking at how the rabbis used demons as a way to think. And using the cutting edge in critical theory, the author, Sara Ronis, posits that demons were used as tools to think. And demons were ways that the rabbis themselves fashioned categories of time, space, and the body. Not only that, according to the book, with profuse illustrations from anecdotes, demons actually were useful for the rabbis to formulate the very category of being a rabbi. And as we get into the book, which again, this is the book, go out and get it, we learn that demons are not in the rabbinic tradition as enunciated in the Talmud, single-mindedly negative characters. They're far more complex. They do many things that are surprising and in some cases even helpful. As we learn, surprises everywhere. And it is a book that really repays reading. It is written in a charming and accessible form, and I congratulate Sara for a real achievement in Jewish scholarship. We want a picture.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mark. I'm glad you brought a copy because I didn't. Well, I'd like to thank Mark. I'd like to thank the Canadian Jewish Literary Awards and all its supporters, the Israel and Golda Kashitsky Center for Jewish Studies, the award jury, and Julie Feinberg. As someone who grew up in Montreal but currently lives in San Antonio, Texas, it's particularly meaningful to be able to continue to participate in the robust world of Canadian Jewish studies and to be a part of conversations with all of you here today. This book was a labor of love, not only my love for the subject, which I hope comes through, but the love and commitment of so many others for this project. I'd like to thank Aviva Arad, who first suggested that I look at, quote, the weird demon texts in the Talmud for a class I was teaching. Dr. Christine Hayes and the Yale Program for Judaic Studies for their support for the project in its earliest stages. Harvard Center for Jewish Studies and the team at University of California Press, especially Eric Schmidt, for supporting this project, even as the world shut down in 2020. I'd like to thank my family and friends and the many colleagues, deans, and students at St. Mary's University in San Antonio who have supported the project as I was completing it. If you found the book at all readable, it is because my students keep pushing me to speak and write more clearly on this and many, many other things. All of my work explores how the rabbis of late antique Babylonia defined who was a part of the rabbinic community and who they left out. How they explored the boundaries between us and them, whether those boundaries were ethnic, gendered, what today we would call species, or, as in Demons in the Detail, boundaries between the human and the more than human. And the case of demons is one which I think offers us a really robust example of how the rabbis of the Talmud don't always do what we moderns expect of them. Today, demons are depicted as malevolent, evil, and terrifying. All you have to do is go to any movie theater, especially right now in spooky season, and you can watch something about demons that will scare your pants off. But the rabbis of the Talmud see the entire world as created by an omnipotent and good God, and so insist that demons, properly understood, cannot in themselves be evil. And if demons are created by God and not evil, then perhaps they might even be good sometimes, or at the very least, neutral. So in my book, I explore the different ways that the rabbis of the Talmud complicate what we think about when we think about demons, looking at how the rabbis define demons halachically, legally, and how to deal with them, how they depict some demons as allies of the rabbis and subjects of the rabbis, and maybe even rabbis themselves. Someone who at first glance you would think is a them, it turns out is really an us, when properly understood. Rabbinic texts challenge us to question our own cultural expectations and assumptions, and think more capaciously and more creatively about ourselves and the world around us. My gratitude today is tempered by sadness. I'm holding space in my heart for friends and colleagues in Israel and Gaza right now, and all those experiencing sorrow and uncertainty. I pray for a lasting peace in the region and the world, speedily and in our days. Thank you.